Going back to Lance, kind of what are your thoughts? I know we've been hearing a lot already about what the plan is for Lance moving forward.
Yeah.
Kind of what are your thoughts on what should happen there?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're basically going to get a under promise over deliver situation, okay? The 49ers are all lockstep and who should start and who shouldn't, and Trey's going to need time, and I get all that. Like, those are the right things to say. But if he's as smart as we've been told that he is and believe that he is when it comes to learning playbooks and breaking down defenses, his team came out and basically said that they expect him to have a full grasp of this offense come July, essentially. So I don't think that's going to be the reason that he's slowed down. I also expect a physically more matured player and a far more accurate player than what we saw in 2019. And so I wouldn't be shocked if he's the starter week one. I can see it happening. That said, if he's not the starter, I'm okay with it. He doesn't have to be the starter week one. But to me, at some point during this season, he's going to have to take over that starting job. I think the worst thing for him could be to sit for a second full year and not play multiple games as a starter. I just don't think the Mahomes Alex Smith recipe is the right one for him. I think that he needs to get out there. He needs to go through some of those struggles. He needs to feel the game speed. And, I think that if we can make a playoff run and let's say he starts halfway through the season, 10 games into the season, whatever that number is, that he actually, if he can get comfortable and get his feet wet a little bit, I actually think that he can bring us on a pretty deep playoff run. I doubt we're going to win the Super Bowl with him. That's just not, it's never happened. So if it happens with a rookie, it'd be the first time. But as far as making a deep playoff run, I feel like, maybe NFC Championship, something like that is possible. And I just don't think that the possibility for us to get that far with Garoppolo really exists.
Yeah, I agree with you. And Cody kind of brought this up. He's asking, if we could see him sitting Lance until 2023, and I don't think so. When you kind of like what you said, I think the whole deal really is how quickly he can pick up the offense when you watch Shanahan's offense, it's not really anything different than what anybody else runs across the league, and you see it happening in the college level and all that kind of stuff. And where Kyle Shanahan's offense gets difficult is really in the vocabulary. It's almost like, and it's just, there's so much of that going on. It's almost like learning a second language. So, it's like taking Spanish 1 and then, you kind of know how to speak Spanish, but you're not quite sure. But then when you get to Spanish 2, you're much better, right? And that's kind of the way that's the only thing that's going to I think will hold him up, is his ability to get through and learn the vocabulary of Shanahan's offense so that he can say the words, but then also know everything that's going on with it. And from everything that we've heard about Trey Lance, I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think he's going to be able to pick this up very quick. And I think, heck, Jimmy Garoppolo for the most part got a portion of it in 6 weeks, right? After the trade was made for him from New England. So, I think that he's going to have the offense down early. And I just hope that if they're at the same level come week one, that they let Lance go ahead and play, because I don't want them to hold him back at all. If these guys are even, go with the young guy, let him take the reins, just like the Eagles did with Carson Wentz back in 2016, and let him go and let him learn, and that's where he's going to get his most growth.
Yeah, for me, I think that the full schedule release as far as when we play these teams and bye weeks and all that comes next Wednesday around 8 p.m. Eastern. And so I think that's going to be a good time for us to really look at it and say, okay, here's a 3-game stretch where we're playing very bad teams midway through the season or wherever it falls. Like, this could be the time, or this is where the bye week falls and we play X team that isn't very good. Like, seeing those things will be extremely important, because I think that definitely could change our mind as to when the right time could possibly be.
Correct. Yeah. Once we get to see who the schedule is and the teams that they're going to be taking against, yeah, that's a good point. And that's coming out next week, you say?
Yeah, next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. What's I Make Music talking about? I want to see that.
Yeah, sure. He says that Lance won't be ready to start. He thinks he's going to have a worse season than Josh Allen's rookie year. Keep in mind that he only completed 52% of his passes his rookie year, and I don't think he'll be accurate.
Completely disagree with that.
Yeah, I disagree with it from the standpoint of you got to recognize what Shanahan can do with this offense, and Shanahan's going to be able to manufacture. Even if he has some accuracy issues, Shanahan's going to be able to manufacture completions and things like that. Look at what Jimmy Garoppolo did this year with this offense, especially after his first injury when he came back.
Yeah,
they won games with screens and jet sweeps. Really easy, and every once in a while, a couple throws down the field. All stuff that Trey Lance can do. He's already been shown that he can do. I don't think he'll have a problem, especially after a full off season, which they're going to get this year. They didn't have last year, and a full training camp and hopefully some preseason games to go with it. So I don't agree with that either. I think he's going to be better.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I respect your opinion, and Josh Allen's a guy that I compare Lance to quite a bit. Just not necessarily saying that they're going to be on the same level as players, but when Josh Allen came out, I really liked him a lot. I liked him more than all the other quarterbacks in that class. And a big reason is I couldn't find a comparison for him. I just thought he was a special talent. And when I watched him, he only completed 57%, I believe, in college. But watching him, I knew that that was much different. He was throwing in extremely tight windows and was asked to do a lot. And Lance coming out this year, I have the same feeling. I don't know who to comp him to. I just get that feeling he's going to be extremely special. And he had accuracy issues because of multiple mechanical breakdowns. And when we had the chance to interview his QB coach, Sean McAvoy, he assured us that those are the things that they tackled first. He knew exactly what those issues were, and they spent 5 solid months correcting them. And although things can break down when you see live bullets, it doesn't take 5 months to build a habit. He's built that habit and had plenty of time to do so. And when you saw that first pro day, some of those obvious differences in what he was doing during the games in 2019 versus what you saw him doing in that pro day, it was night and day mechanically in a lot of those scenarios. So I don't believe he's going to have the issues. And to Jack's point, Buffalo didn't do Allen any favors. They also are a vertical team and didn't have a lot of receiver talent. So he went from college where he had a problem and then was thrust into the same exact problem with Buffalo, to whereas Shanahan is going to get you a lot of easy completions, a lot of one-read completions, a lot of behind the line of scrimmage completions, heck, a lot of catch it and toss it straight ahead to Debo type completions. So his completion percentage certainly won't be 52%. But yeah, he will struggle. I think every rookie struggles. No rookie is going to come out and be perfect. It doesn't matter who we drafted. So expect some of those issues. There will be some, and that's just the way that it is. Peyton Manning had them. As you said, Josh Allen had them. Pretty much every rookie has struggles. Andrew Luck's another one. So, there will be some growing pains for sure. But as far as what this offense is going to expect of him versus what Josh Allen was expected to do as a rookie, I think they're two completely different things. And anything that Jimmy can do, Trey Lance can do better.
Yeah, I think one thing that I want to say on this is that if you go back, and it was in one of the press conferences, I think it was the night that Trey Lance was drafted. Mm-hmm. They had asked Kyle Shanahan the question about how do you go about working with accuracy with your quarterbacks? Can you work on that with them in camp and during OTAs and those kind of things? And I don't know if you heard this or not, but what he said basically was, once we get the guys in here and we're going through our program, we're pretty much, at that point, other than maybe some footwork issues and things like that, that's the stuff that we touch on. But other than that, their accuracy all needs to be built up while they're working with their quarterback coaches in the off season. Mm-hmm. And so when I heard that, my first thought was, well, that really gives Lance a leg up, because he hasn't just started working with the quarterback coach in January or February like all these other guys. He's been working with a quarterback coach since November, end of October, November. So he's had months already ahead of everybody else to really work on these things and develop some enhanced skills and refine those skills. So I think you're right on this, that we're going to be able to see some improvement with him, from day one, or at least that's what we're hoping we would expect to see.
For sure. And as Andrew Donato points out, yeah, there definitely were some inconsistencies, especially around his feet. His feet would get ahead of his eyes, and those are some things that, we were assured have been worked on and gone over repeatedly, and quite frankly probably fixed. So I think we're going to see, like I said, I think we're going to see a much different player now than what we saw in 2019. I really do.
Yeah, and it's interesting that Andrew mentions his feet, right? Because that's what I just talked about with Kyle Shanahan talking about in his press conference, right? About how they can really work on that footwork in camp. So it all kind of makes sense, and it all the pieces are kind of starting to fit together